What the hell are you doing here, man?
I snuck in. They let me on the plane. Got through TSA.
Man, you almost didn't, you almost didn't come to this naturally because it's completely new. And this is the first time we've had an OG step into a new retreat space. So this would have been different for you. I mean, how was it? How was the last week? It's experience.
It felt like another Trinity retreat. Yeah. All jokes aside, I felt like I was really just involved in it in the same way that the current intake were. Obviously, I'm an alumni, so I come into it with a bit of I was invited under the guise that I'm taking a bit more of a leadership role amongst things, and that was like what a lot of the discussions were when it comes to doing the alumni program in the first place, and something that initially like I was really sold on, and something that I saw myself doing a lot of. But I probably felt like I hadn't been doing as much of that as I actually envisioned to begin with, like throughout like joining in on calls and things like that. I still stayed in contact in my own way, but definitely wasn't as present in those areas, but still having the opportunity to come and actually be physically present on the retreat. I came into that with a sense of, well, a lot of gratitude because, you know, sure, I obviously paid to be here and like paid to be involved in terms of like getting over here and all those kind of things, but to be invited, it really meant a lot to me. So I was treated as if I was just like another student here, basically, with the idea that, hey, like I've also done this before, and I just I feel like it comes a bit naturally to me to be a bit more of a bigger brother kind of figure anyway, and like where I can, I'll see someone else and I'll pick their brain and give them a bit of attention in that kind of sense. And I feel like it was awesome being able to walk the line between being involved and experiencing how you're running these retreats now, because every single time it changes, it's unique. We haven't been to Vietnam before. You haven't ran the whatever number retreat this is for the total. Like this is the first and only, I don't know if it's the 6th or 7th or 8th one. 6th. This is the only 6th retreat you've done, and it's the only one you're going to do. So it's still a novel experience, but yeah, being here, I'm involved, but I'm also here as a bit of a trying to keep in mind that I'm also someone who's done this before, and I've done Trinity, and there's things I have to offer that the others would benefit from me being here. I'm just trying to distill that role.
Yeah, stepping into it, like coming in as alumni, different for you, but what was that like, as in what were the insights or the lessons or the beliefs even that might have shifted or light was shown on them? Like how do you think this experience, if it did, like changed you? Teach.
Well, the most obvious thing to me was actually just getting to know the people involved in this one a lot more than I already did. When you do things like some really deep and intense emotional activities like breath work and experience people's side of themselves that they don't show on their regular day-to-day, let alone through some messages online or in a video call, I feel like I have a deeper bond with all the guys here, and I understand what makes them tick a little bit more. And outside of that, just being a bit more personable with them, the idea of just really being able to dive into connection with others and separate myself from my day-to-day like regular activities and regular patterns of thoughts is always been one of the biggest takeaways from retreats, and it still is, I'd say. So coming here and actually just being able to disconnect from like what I'd normally be thinking about and trying my best to be present, which I think is something that I always can work on a little bit better. And when I say present, I mean just being here in the moment for someone who is very driven and always thinking about shit that they haven't done and things that they have to do, and like the boulder you haven't pushed yet. It's really hard to just like sit down and just like sometimes just like focus on something that isn't related to that. But I think like exposure therapy, the more you put yourself in that situation, the better you get at it.
But how does that help you? You know, why should you care about that?
Because
Help you as a human and a coach.
Because not everyone is exactly like us, and a lot of our lives will be spent not doing those things. And there are things that matter beyond just growing your business or signing the next client, doing a good job with the current client, things related to work, building some muscle. The connection and the bonds have that time spent with different people, and just being able to just, yeah. I'm literally just thinking about what you're saying right now. I'm literally just thinking about what we're doing. If you can't do that, I think you're severely limiting the quality of your own life, because most of your life is spent in moments like this. And if you can't actually experience them, or just wholeheartedly just like be in that kind of like, be in that exact scenario, like if you can't actually be there doing the things, focusing on that, keeping your mind with you and whatever you're doing, then time's just going to fly by, and then all of a sudden you haven't, like, those experiences haven't been felt properly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Speaking of felt, finish a sentence. If you could finish a full. Trinity retreat felt like blank, because
the Trinity retreat felt fun because I was able to be present within those experiences with everyone else here and challenge myself in that way. You touched on fun a little bit, and I was thinking about it before, and I said it, but things like that maybe were more fun when I was a child, like just like playing with a ball, being in the water at the beach, aren't as appealing to me now in my age, but it's helped me realize other things that I do find really fun, where I do lose track of time, that I do just want to do without any grand reasoning, like having meaningful conversations and connecting with others. And I feel like we did a lot of connecting here over all our activities, our meals, spare time, and that's why it was fun to me.
Why should a business owner and coach and a man fun? Why is that beneficial? Like how could that help you?
I'd see it as, if we're looking at it through my business lens, my purpose lens, it's like servicing the system that's actually working. Kind of like metaphor would be like an F1 driver stopping in a pit stop. Even though like you're not moving forward, you're losing time in your race. You can't just keep pushing, because you're gonna break down, you're gonna have problems. You have to readjust, you have to change the tires.
Yeah.
Depending on the actual the conditions. And to me, those other aspects allow me to service myself and also service others. And that's just outside of like the physiological benefits in isolation, where I think people who engage in fun or just like designated like play, whatever you define that as for you, because it's unique from person to person, they seem to be happier and healthier and cognitively function better, at more ease with themselves and their heads. And I think that's really important, because my whole life, like my business and work and all that stuff is really important to me, but it's not the only thing in life that's important to me.
And this experience is a way to engage in that other side, like a pit stop.
Yeah, it's a pit stop, I guess, in a way.
It's cool.
And I wouldn't go as far unless I had those. Yeah.
What's one or a few words? I mean, you can't mention, but what's one or a few words that describe this experience?
Enriching would definitely be one of them. Joyful, because of that fun. Like I look back on these experiences and I actually feel like warm. It's like nostalgia, except it's happening right now. Cool. And it's like soulful. Soulful, yeah. Challenging my own preconceived notions about certain thoughts and ideas, namely like with breath work and things like that. It's something naturally I wouldn't gravitate towards, but being in a situation where like we're just doing this, I'm going to try and like get the most out of it, even though naturally in my head sometimes I'm like, this isn't what would click with me in the purest sense. But being able to like dig a little bit deeper and think in like a different, not a different plane of thought, but it's like you're thinking on a different wavelength and you're just trying to see what's there.
That's right.
I'm like, that's cool. Yeah. There's not many times, like you just wouldn't do that at home if you're just sitting there and like you're not going to go and try and do the thing that you think doesn't give anything to you. You're just going to, you can easily get stuck in your regular patterns and whatnot. So being able to try those new things, it's enriching, it's joyful, and it's really soulful to me.
It's a beautiful word, salt. So, why are you get? We've been doing this a little while now. You know me longer than everybody in that room. Why are you get?
I'm here because I love engaging in new experiences, and I think I've already got that across, but you expressed a strong desire to have me here, and I really care about what you do and what you think and things you've done for me, and I'm sure like there's in the same way I've done lots of things for you, but I really do value what you think as someone that I look up to as a role model, father figure in ways. When you express the desire to actually have me here, I'm like, he's not just saying that. It's harder for you to get me here than to not. Like it literally is. Like even though like I can pay for things to get here, it's like you still have to organize it, and you still have to account for the fact that I'm an extra number, I'm an extra head. Yeah. I'm like 3 mouths to feed, but
we have dinner like the motherfuckers still eating. It's 2 hours.
Yeah,
I got you.
Yeah, but you express that desire, and I'm like. When someone else that I really value wants that, like I want that, like I see like, oh, I do have a purpose here. Yeah, you wouldn't just say it for no reason. So, and that's why I'm saying I'm like so grateful, because even if it was just like a buying thing where it's like, oh, you can come if you want, I still think it would be worth coming. Yeah. And like I still think it would mean a lot to me, but it's even more it's more significant that you raised that and you were like, you explained how much of a add-on it would be, not just for me, but mainly for like the people there.
And you've heard how many, like a few times, like the other students have acknowledged you.
Yeah.
And have like made mention. So like they're watching you now, just by your actions. So you're teaching through that. That's so tangible. I'm really glad to see that, because they can feel things that I can't say from you. I have one question I've wanted to ask you for quite a while. I have never asked you face to face. You're tattooed. You got a few tattoos. Why did you decide? I don't know if I've been asked you. Why did you decide to get the Trinity trident on your hand?
So I got the trident tattooed on my knuckle because I like to use the imagery in my tattoos as like an expression of how I felt at a certain moment. And I think that my whole Trinity mentorship obviously changed my whole trajectory of like what I was doing in life and who I was as a person. Yeah, like it can't be understated, but I have to understate it a little bit because I mean, I only have so much time in the day, but I don't even think I'd be in like my current relationship. I don't think I'd value this. I wouldn't have the same values. I wouldn't see the same things as important, like my relationship and connection with others outside of just like running my own business and trying to help people and all those kind of things, unless I was in that original Trinity intake. So it's, man, honestly, it should be taking up a little bit more real estate on my body. And I love tattoos. I think the imagery is cool. And like I said, it's like, that's how I felt in that moment. It's not something where I wake up every day and I'm like, do I still care about this thing? It's like, with that, obviously, like I see its significance still, but it's was such a no-brainer to get something like that plastered on me. And I think it adds to my aesthetic overall and like the things that I like, and a little bit of symbolism I think is important to remind me. Even though I probably don't acknowledge it every single day, like people think that when you get tattoos, you think about every single tattoo you have every day and whether you regret it or not. For me, it paints a picture, and it's like, if my body is kind of like an art piece or a collage, it has to be a piece of that, because I know, like, I'm not going to forget this. Yeah. So these are probably some of the years of my life and most people's lives, from like when they become an adult to when they get towards their 30s. Like, they probably remember that shit pretty vividly. So for me, this is something that I'll remember for a long time, and that's why I decided to get it tattooed on me, and it makes me happy to have it there, doesn't it?
It's a really thoughtful response, be heartfelt response. It's good to get the answer in the flesh. Thank you, man. Appreciate you.
So good.
Amen.
Thank you.
Welcome. Thank you for being here.
To bless you. Yeah. Just to let him more.